Now let's talk about the width. Now in this bathroom, there's a couple of places in this that jog in and out. And so I'm just going to kind of go off of, pick a wall, and I'm just going to go off of a center point. So what I'm going to do, because the cabinet is the longest and this wall is the longest, I'm just going to measure right here, and I'm going to come up with my center point off of these two walls, or off of this wall and off the base of the cabinet. And 33 inches is my number, and 33 divided by 2 is 16.5 inches. So I'll make a mark. Now, if I take my cheat sheet and I come up with the nearest number without going over, it's 12. So if I make a mark at 12, now the distance between the 12 and the 16.5 are the size of the piece that I'll have over here and over here. Now I don't really like that small piece, and so we can extend this method a little bit farther. And you can see what I did here. I wrote it down so you can kind of see. I took 33, I divided it by 2, I came up with 16.5. Now I'm going to add a half a tile plus the grout joint. So if I have a grout joint plus my tile, it's 12 inches. So I'll take that, divide that by 2, and I come up with 6. So I'm going to add 6 inches to my 16.5 inch mark. And so what I do is I add 16 inches from the number I got from dividing the room in half, or this area in half, and that will be 22.5. And since I started off this wall, I'm going to continue off that wall. So I'll add the 6 inches. You don't even need to do the math. You can just put your tape measure down and add 6 inches. Because off my cheat sheet here, I want to go to the nearest number without going over 22.5 inches. Well, it's still 12, so I made a mark at 12. That was already there. I'm just going to keep it there. Now I measure the distance between this, and we got a 10.5 inch piece on each side then. And so that is something that I like. Now what I need to do is make sure though that off these jogs that go in from here and down there, that I'm not going to end up having a sliver. So now that I know it's 10.5 inch pieces, I'll come down here, I'll make a mark at 10.5. I'll circle that so I remember where it's at. Now I'll measure right from here to over here. Okay, so if you look at that, it's 23 3/4 or 23 7/8. Well, that leaves me enough where I'm going to actually have a full piece right here. Now you want to make sure this is sitting in here straight too, so what we can do is we can measure another mark over here just to see how straight it is, and we're still going to make it with our full tile. So I like this number. I got a nice big number there. I know that with 10.5 inches, I only jog in a ½ inch here, so I'll have about 11 inch piece across the tub here, which is nice. And then I know that back here where it goes into the toilet, if I just make a mark at 11, just a quick mark here, not one that you want to circle so that it confuses you later, and I measure, well, 3 feet is my mark if I have 3 tiles sitting here, and if I add that, it's 5 inches. So I'm going to have a 5 inch piece sitting on the back wall. So really, this is pretty simple math, the way that you do this method. Now, if you don't understand what I just said, just go back, rewind the DVD, go back and watch this over again. This is actually a really simple method. You just need to think about it a few times.